Hello everyone, it's Love Spuds. Welcome to round 5 in Spain of our F1 26 career mode in Season 2. They say the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Not today, as it is a dry race, 20 degrees, overcast, cloudy. But Spuds will be looking to come back from the last race where him and Button had it coming together in Russia. Button went on to finish 3rd, Spuds had to be happy with 8th and in effect lost the lead of the championship. 4 points, not much to worry about at this stage, but Spuds will be looking to come out on top today. So we've got 16 corners, nice dry track, 2 DRS zones, and about 4.5 kilometers in length. Roughly a 1 minute 20 sort of track, but let's see what Spuds can do today on his qualifying lap. It's a bit of a tight qualifying lap here, so I'll just go through it. Turn 1 and 2, well taken. But unfortunately turn 3 is a bit of a struggle. You see, it don't quite get the line on the corner, and the car seems to struggle a little bit with the long sweeping turns there. So turn 4 not too bad as well, back on the right line there, but we are about a 10th down as we go down into run down into 6 and then 7. This is another tricky braking zone, and seems to struggle a little bit on the run up the hill here. As we turn round, had to ease off the gas there. Usually you'd take that flat out if you can, and we're currently about 2/10 down, which is not ideal as we come into the 3rd sector here. Not bad on turn 10 there. It's a pretty easy one when the braking is spot on and you don't lock up into that hairpin bend. Here's the tricky section coming up now, downhill braking into 14 and 15, the chicane that Spuds despises and wishes wasn't there. But as we fly around the final turn, and we end up just 1/100th of a second down on Button, end up in 2nd place there. So we go to the starting grid there, you can see the championship, only 4 points between the top 3. That's Button, Ricardo and Spuds. McLaren Honda at the top there in the constructors, looking to keep that today. It certainly started off well, the 1-2 on the grid. Jensen, there you go, in 1st place, just getting into his car. Bottas having a few checks with his engineer there before he sets off, and also Spuds as well, having a few words with his engineer on his little tablet there he's got in front of him. He's not playing Flappy Bird or anything, he's just looking up what he's going to do in the race. So anyway, let's have a look at the starting grid. So Button, Spuds, Button, Spuds, Raikkonen, and you've got 2 Red Bulls split between the Mercedes there. Ferrari would have hoped for better. Williams probably would have been disappointed with that qualifying session. Magnussen done well to put that Renault up in 15th there. Verline done okay as well, but Force India's will be disappointed as well. And Jolyon Palmer and Rio Haryanto complete the grid. So here we go for the start of the race. 4 lights, 5 lights, and we're off. Spanish Grand Prix is go, and Button gets a good start. Hamilton gets an amazing start as well. Button can't defend too much from Spuds getting the slipstream, and Spuds makes a move up the inside. Button cannot turn in, and Spuds has left the door, taken the door that was wide open, left open by Button there. Not much Button can do about that, but Spuds leads them away down into turn 4. Everyone seems to get away quite cleanly. A few good starts, a few bad starts, and we'll just have a look at those just in a moment. We'll cut away any minute now. So just following one by one as we go around turn 5 into turn 6, and we'll just have a look at Button's start here off the line. It wasn't a bad start, can't complain about that, but Spuds just making use of the slipstream, gaining a few extra kilometers an hour and going up the inside. Button cannot turn in and has left the door open to Spuds to go off and wander off into the distance. So Rosberg did not get a good start at all. You can see Raikkonen on the left there, but Hamilton spearing his way through up the middle. 2 Red Bulls as well, getting a little bit swamped as we go down into turn 1 and has nowhere to go. He's going to try and hold on round the outside. We've also got the Williams of Massa coming up the outside of turn 3 here. He was on the inside of 2, but he cannot hang around the outside and hold on to that position. He has to get it back to a Rosberg there. So turn 4, this is lap 4, should I say. Spuds still out in the lead. Button second. Raikkonen has just tried to overtake Button. A little fight going on between them. Button has lost out massively there and has fallen down to about 4th. And there's something going on the main straight. Vettel is out of the race, and the virtual safety car has been called out. DRS disabled as Button had pulled into the pits. That's what I realised. I realised that's what he'd done now. So we can just see what happened to Vettel as he came round turn 16 there. Button peeled off into the pits, but as you see, the smoke from the engine, pretty self-explanatory there. His engine's gone, and that's him out of the Spanish Grand Prix. You'll be very disappointed with that, considering he was making up some ground. So Button not Button, it's Spuds. It's a little bit confusing occasionally. Spuds pulls into the pits after Button made his stop on the previous lap, and that virtual safety car may have slightly ruined things for him. As he comes in, Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Don't quite know where Button is yet, but Spuds goes on to the medium tyres, and where's he going to come out? There's Button in 11th going past there. You can just see him going past the shot now as Spuds leave the pits. Looks like Spuds is going to come out not in between, but behind the 2 Force Indias here. Hulkenberg and Perez is going to catch them up after that 2.2 second stop, which wasn't too bad at all. It's just Buttons managed to get the undercut on him with the help of the virtual safety car here. So Hulkenberg's going to fall victim to Spuds. Spuds is going to go up the inside and makes the move easy. No dramas whatsoever, and he goes after Perez on the run up to 7 there. Not 7. Yes, it is 7 and 8. And then over the top of the crest of the hill at 9. And he's going to wait for the DRS zone. Almost had a bit of an issue there going up to 7, but luckily he didn't come to anything, and Spuds makes the move up at turn 10 up the inside. Can't complain about that at all. So he's after the Manor next, which is just up the road there. Pascal Wehrlein catches him on the next lap, and he's going to make a move into turn 4 here and not waste too much time, because he still needs to catch up his teammate Button, who is not that far up the road now. He's in 8th, but Button will have his eyes on the next car up the road, and there'll be pit stops as well, so it won't take long for us to get back into the top 4 here. So as you can see, we're a bit further down the road. Button tries to make a move on Sainz, but Sainz has other ideas. Going to battle Kvyat into turn 1. Button has to back out of it. He has no choice. This is a few laps down the road after the people in front of them had made the pit stops, but the Toro Rossos have stayed out and have therefore held up Button a little bit, which has allowed Spuds to catch up. So run up to turn 8 and then turn 9. Spuds should be able to make a move, but it does look like Button has the same idea. He's going to go up the inside of Kvyat into 10. Spuds is going to just back out of it, see if he can capitalise on any mistakes here, which doesn't quite pull off. So he's behind Kvyat here, but Button has managed to get himself into a position where he can challenge Sainz on the next lap. So Spuds knows he cannot hang around, and he's going to dive up the inside of 14 and make his presence felt, and then round the outside as well of 15. That's pretty tricky to get some drive off of there without spinning it. And he makes the move stick as we go down the main straight. And at the same time, Button is making the move for the lead there of the Spanish Grand Prix with his DRS. An easy pass down into turn 1. No pressure whatsoever. And then there's Button just behind him there. Kvyat tried to come up on him on the inside, but Spuds had outbraked him into turn 1 there. So that's lap 13. So now we move on to lap 14 here. So we've got Sainz in Spuds' sights. As we come around turn 3, we do have quite a bit of speed on Sainz, even though his tyres are starting to get worn down here. And he takes the move up the inside, but overcooks it a little bit, and he ends up nearly getting overtaken again by Sainz, but does have the line on 5 as we run down to 6. and that's not bad at all. Does take himself up to second there. So Button pulls in from the lead to make his final pit stop of the race, and he's going on to the hard tyres. There we go. Orange wall tyres there. Let's see where he comes out. You see, there we go, Rosberg and Ricciardo fighting for that position there. Ricciardo going up the inside of turn 1 and takes the position, and Button slots out behind Rosberg there. But in front of who I can see, that is Bottas. I believe that's Bottas as Spuds locks up into turn 10 there. Lap 17, a few laps down the road. Spuds had decided to stay out a little bit longer. Usually he would pit a lap after Button. He wants to hang it out for a bit to see if Button got held up by the traffic. Not sure if that was necessarily a wise move, as he pulls into the pits now, flies in and makes a double lock up onto the line there. Surprisingly, he has not picked up a penalty for that yet. He's managed to slow it down just enough to that 50-mile-an-hour limit. So Verstappen takes the lead of the race. Hamilton's in third. And what's Spuds going to fit? He's going to fit the medium tyres. 2 point something stop, 2.9 I think that was. Would have liked that a bit quicker, as Button and Bottas have gone past the pit exit there, and Raikkonen in 7th. So, bit of a risky strategy for Spuds there. He wants to see if he can catch up to Button and make these tyres last at the end of the race. It may be a bit of an ask, but he needs to find somewhere catching Button up, otherwise Button could take the win today. So we're going to take Bottas, hopefully, and the run up to turn 4. Spuds is one of his favourite overtaking places today. A little bit cleaner than the way he overtook Sainz. Just enough on the brakes there. Bottas nearly closed the door on him. Bit too late there, but he managed to see him just in time, and that Spuds up to third. So Verstappen's made his pit stop, and that leaves Button and Spuds first and second. It has been a few laps since we last saw this. Good few laps, about 7 or 8 laps there. It has taken Spuds a while to catch up to Button, who's coming up to turn 4 just now. But you can see he is slowly gaining, but has Spuds taken too much out of the tyres, considering he's still got a few laps to go before the end of the race. Button's tyres, they should be holding up quite nicely. Is he controlling the pace? Who knows? How much is Spuds going to take out of these tyres to get past Button today? See the Sauber just going around 10 there. Spuds close enough to get DRS, but can't do anything into turn 10. Just going to see as we get into the final sector of the lap. It's pretty close, but it does tend to lose some time coming out the final corner, turn 16. But hopefully that'll be offset by the time made up in the chicane here. Just on board with Button, just on his front nose cone. You see the speed he can carry out the final turn, compared to Spuds, who has fallen back slightly, but is close enough to get DRS here. Let's see what he can do. Going to run down into turn 1. 2 Saubers up ahead, battling away as well. So Spuds moves up to the inside of turn 1, and DRS open, easy move up the inside, and takes the lead of the Grand Prix. Button, however, does have the more durable tyre. Let's see how long Spuds can hang out in front. So lap 29. Ericsson and Nasser up front. Nasser's going pretty slow. Don't know what's going on with him. But Ericsson gets in the way of Spuds, unfortunately, and in his haste to get out of my way, nearly going to the back of him, get those damn Saubers out of the way. As Ericsson nearly tried to hold it into turn 3 and try and get the place back for some reason, thinking he was faster. Don't know where he got that idea from, but Button moves up into 2 pretty easily. Saubers didn't get in the way of him, unfortunately, and that's pretty much a shame, really. So Spuds is beginning to feel the tyres going off here. He can feel the presence of Button. He's almost on his gearbox now as he turns around turn 10. You can see how close he is in the mirrors if you've got the good eyesight there. And hopefully YouTube won't have messed with the encoding too much. You can see how close Button is into third sector there, going round turn 13 down to 14 and 15, the chicane. And it all depends on what sort of run Spuds gets out the final turn. It is a tricky one. He gets a half decent run out, but looks like Button has got a better one, and Button is a lot closer than Spuds was when he overtook Button. DRS open, Button goes up the inside. Easy, Spuds doesn't take too much of a fight there. He knows he doesn't want to tangle with his teammate, and he knows he does not have the tyres to make that battle work in his favour. There's still a chance though, he can still try a bit later on in the lap, see how close he is still. He's still hanging on in there, using all the grip in his tyres unfortunately, but he wants that win today, and nothing is going to get in his way if he can help it. Getting through 6, he's going to come up the inside of 7 here, and he's had to back out of it. Unfortunately he's had to back out. He does not want a repeat of last season's antics with Max Verstappen on the same corner, where he went up the inside and Max ended up spinning him around. Neither does he want the two cars coming together. It's the same team. The team want the 1-2. They don't mind who finishes first and second, especially when Verstappen is not actually that far down the road. A spin for one of these cars could mean the loss of a second place or even a first place if they both spin around. But unfortunately Spuds has lost ground. Now you can see how Button can get away pretty easily, and on lap 33, the final lap, you can see how much of the tyres are worn away. 70% on the front left there, taking a battering this race. Unfortunately the medium tyre was not the tyre to be on. Should have tried the hard tyre, but hindsight's a wonderful thing. See, just going up to 70% wear now, and the rest are on 52, 53%, 51%. So the tyres not holding up for Spuds at all. You can see how far Button is up the road as he comes around the final bends. Button comes through the final corner to win the Spanish Grand Prix. He'll be very happy with that. He's the first repeat winner of Season 2. And Spuds comes home second. Hamilton third. Hamilton takes third from Verstappen. And it's a good job, a really good race for McLaren there. McLaren on the front row of the grid and 1-2 on the podium. Eric Bullier is one happy dude today. See Jensen there pulling into Park Ferme as the winner of the Spanish Grand Prix. Had Spuds gone for the harder tyres, it might have been a different story, but we'll never know. Felipe Massa there didn't have a great race, but he didn't lose any positions either. So there's the results. Button, Spuds, Hamilton. So Hamilton and Verstappen gained places. Ricciardo and Rosberg were lost out, especially on Rosberg especially losing out on the start of the race there. Bottas made progress, but Raikkonen lost out from third on the grid. Very bad day for Ferrari, with Raikkonen 8th and Vettel retiring due to an engine problem. Pascal Wehrlein had a great race, finishing 12th, but a bad day for Grosjean as well, finishing 21st. Also Magnussen couldn't improve on his 15th, actually fell a couple of places, and Gutierrez started 11th, finished 16th. So a few good qualifyings, slightly ruined in the race, but there you go, that's the driver standings currently. Button is now 11 points ahead of Spuds, who takes second. Ricciardo is third, slips down to third. Hamilton and Rosberg move up. Vettel falls down a bit thanks to that retirement. So Verstappen and Massa change places as well, and Kvyat and Perez. Everyone else pretty much stays where they are. So let's have a look at the constructors. McLaren and Honda at the top with 151 points, 41 points ahead of Mercedes. Red Bull and Ferrari swap places after a bad day for Scuderia. I'm not even sure if that's how you pronounce it, but again I'm not Italian, so Apologies for that. So an all British display on the podium today. And enjoy the celebrations. And I will see you next time for round 6 in Monaco. I'll see you then.